Hey guys, welcome back to Castle Combat TV, and in this video, I will be showing you guys the new Castle Combat set, also known as the Inferno Creature set. Alright, so the first cards we're going to go over are the commons. So this is the return of the Fire Dogs, Elementalists. There's also two new commons in Kemp Jester, Red Marshal, Firebird, and Orange Crow. So, in the base set, there are actually two Fire Dogs. Normally, there's one of each. So, you will be able to get a lot of Fire Dogs and Elementalists. If you ever wanted Elementalists or Fire Dogs, they're going to be super common because they're twice as common as any normal common. Anyways, now the four new ones. You have a Kemp Jester. So, Kemp's best Jester. If you laugh before battle, Kemp can shuffle your opponent's deck. If there are no cards left in your opponent's deck to shuffle, you are +3 power. So, this card can become a power 5, kind of like the Red Gargoyle, near the end of the game. But at the start, it's just going to be a 2 that can shuffle. But if your opponent has one card or no cards in their deck, then this thing is a 5. The Red Marshal, so this is the Red Knight Captain art. So if you lost previous battle, you are +1 power. If you won the previous battle, then you win ties. Red Marshals auto lose versus Red Good Guy Legendaries. So if you tie the previous battle, nothing happens. Moving on to our next one, we have Firebird. Before battle, roll a die. If you roll higher than your foe's power, your foe is sent to dungeon. After your foe is sent to dungeon, remove Firebird from game. So it's kind of like an evil snowman, but your opponent goes to dungeon and it's just higher. And also it's an elemental / beast, and also it's a red neutral power 1. So moving on to the final card is like a reworked Moonin, but it's a common this time. So Orange Crow. Before battle, you can look at your opponent's deck in hand. Orange Crow can only be defeated by an archer, wizard, dragon. If Orange Crow is facing anyone else, then battle counts as a tie. If Orange Crow is your last card, remove Orange Crow from game. If I have 4 Orange Crows and I keep on playing them and counting it as a tie, it's just I can get to my legends faster. So it's basically a cycle card. You don't really play it to win, you just play it to get to your legends a lot faster. So yeah, that's it for the commons. Now moving on to legends, we have Sir Tavish, a new version. So Sir Tavish defeated Menhis and now has the Shield of Segaheim. So epic battle, roll 2 dice versus dragons, doubles add together plus your power, +2 versus dragons. It defeated, roll a die. If you roll 4 higher, then Sir Tavish goes to the bottom of the deck to dungeon. He can reroll 1s in battle. So defeated Menhis. I'm going to go fast through these first cards and then we're going to get to the really cool cards. So next up we have Volatile. So Volatile before battle, you can trade places with any red bad guy from deck or hand, +2 versus common foes in battle. So basically like a red Zamp. Moving on to our next one, we have Bad Sir Drake. So epic battle / big showdown. If Bad Sir Drake defeats a red good guy, remove them from game. +2 versus red good. If Bad Sir Drake defeats King Crimson, you win the game. So it's another one of those cards. If you beat a certain character, you win the game. Now moving on to our next card, we have Emberheart. So Emberheart is the youngest member of the Segaheim Wizard Council. So if an epic battle, roll a die for every warrior. If you roll a 1, then that card's sent to dungeon. If you're 5 or higher, then that card can be -1 or +1 power. So kind of like an Otho, not Otho rework, but like someone that would take the spot of Otho as a red good guy in the Segaheim Wizard Council. Anyways, now moving on to their next, I believe, 14 cards. So our first card is Law of Awe. So Law of Awe. If Cole is defeated in epic battle, send Law of Awe to dungeon and Cole to bottom of the deck. +1 power if in epic battle with Cole. So really cool art there, all made by Midjourney AI. So we have Combustor. So we have before battle, you can send your Combustor and your foe's top card to dungeon. If Combustor is defeated, send foe and Combustor to dungeon. So a really good card. If you can keep on bringing him back, you can keep on taking out your opponent's cards, even if it loses. Moving on to our next card, we have Princess Garnet. So Princess Garnet, if your foe is a knight, they do not get a battle roll. Auto win versus common knights, +1 versus common foes. Sir Garnet's younger sister. So really good card there. If you guys recognize that ability, if you guys remember Princess Current, she's a white back card. I just reused the ability and added 2 power. Moving on to our next card, it is Sir Moltenus. So Sir Moltenus, epic battle, if your foe is wearing armor, roll a die. If you roll a 3 or higher, then they are half their power rounded up. +1 versus knights in battle. So that can go towards any armor, not just knights, like Viking armor. Moving on to our next card, we have Everblaze. So Everblaze, lowest battle score wins, power 3. Before battle, roll a die. You can bring back 1 red bad guy with equal power. If you send 2 elementals to dungeon, you can roll 3 dice before battle. Triples heal 2 red bad guys. So basically, it's a before battle heal, and if you sacrifice your elementals like your Fire Dogs, then you have a better chance of bringing back a card. And remember, it is 1 card. It does all caps say 1 red bad guy. So don't roll 3 dice, roll 5, 6, and like 2, and bring back 3 different cards. So it doesn't work like that. It is 1 card at a time. Moving on to our next card, it is Emberlyn. So Emberlyn, vanish into the embers. Before battle, will die. On a 3 or higher, Emberlyn and allies in epic battle can retreat to the bottom of the deck. Search your deck and dungeon for a Fire Dog. This Fire Dog will battle your foe. If you have no Fire Dogs in deck or dungeon, remove Emberlyn from game. So you got to be very careful of how many Fire Dogs you have in dungeon. Make sure they're not removed. But let's say I had a battle that's like this, and I have a really bad matchup. Right here, if I roll 3 or higher, I could sub all 3 of these out, bring back 3 Fire Dogs from my dungeon or deck, and put them all out, and then I just saved my guys from a really bad epic battle. So that's how it would be useful. Moving on to our next card, it is Charburn. So Charburn, I believe, is our first dragon. So big showdown, feel the burn. Your foe is -1 power after every round of battle, +1 versus the knight. So really cool art there. Remember, all these cards are shiny if you guys couldn't tell already, but there's a lot of dragons in the set. So now we're getting into the interesting cards, the ones that you could actually use. Now moving on to our next one, we have Tambora. So Tambora is a really nice card in my opinion. Power 6, roll 2 dice. In battle, choose highest, double send foe's top card to dungeon. +1 versus common foes. Tambora goes to dungeon, win, lose, or tie. So if you guys are recognizing that ability, it's basically a power 6 atomic skeleton that's red. Now moving on to our next card, we have Infernox. So Infernox, big showdown before battle, send as many fire dogs to dungeon as you want. Infernox gains 1 power for every fire dog you send to dungeon. So that's another, also max power 7. That's another example of cycling fire dogs. Moving on to our next card, we have Infernith. So if you guys are seeing a trend here, Infernox, Infernith. If in epic battle, roll a die. On a 4 or higher, then all foes in epic battle must roll 6s, +1 power if in epic battle with Infernoth. So we have Infernox, Infernith, and Infernoth. So these 3 are all brothers. This is the oldest. So before battle, roll 3 dice. If the total is greater than 13, then all foes in epic battle are sent to dungeon, +1 versus beast. That might sound really good. So you have to basically roll 14 plus. It's really hard to do, so it's not broken in any way. But he's faction owner of the volcano and rivalry all non-red cards. So a lot of these cards have rivalry all non-red cards, which means they don't work well with any other colors. You can't even build a legal deck using another color. The red bad guys, their identity is that you're just going to use them and no one else. And keep in mind, if you're running a 1-color deck, then you basically roll a die before the game starts, and that's how many rerolls you get as like a little benefit. So a lot of people don't know that rule, but it is a rule. Moving on to our top 3 cards of the set, we have the Volcano. So the Volcano itself, it is a landmark card. We are starting to bring out more landmark cards, so expect to see pyramids, the Grail Tower, you never know, the Fey Forest, the Bog Tower, everything like that, but we're going to experiment with this card. So once per game, roll a die. On a 1, send your hand to dungeon, not your foe. On a 2 or 3, heal 4 red bad guy commons. On a 4 or 5, heal 2 red bad guys. And on a 6, remove any foe from game on battlefield. Once you use the ability, this card must flip over. This card is basically a treasure card. It does count as a legend slot, so you have 7 legends and 1 to the side. You can use it anytime you want. And if you roll 4 or 5, which is basically a 50% chance, you can end up bringing back 2 red bad guys. So moving on to our second to last card, we have King Inferno. So King Inferno, epic battle, Infernal Sword and Wrath of Volcano. Roll 2 dice, doubles add together, plus your power, +1 versus legends, optional. Sir Inferno can double his power after this battle. He is removed from game. So rivalry, faction, Thermo Warriors, and Romulus. So if you're running the math, he's a 5, and when you double the power, it doubles the base number. So it'd be 10 + 1, then you roll doubles, that's 12. So you can become a 23. Now moving on to our final card. It was on the community post, I blurred it out. It is Prime Cole the Torch. So for all Cole the Torch fans out there, he is at his peak right now. So epic battle, the world will burn. Before battle, say the world will burn. You're a +1 power, but if you roll a 1, then you auto lose the battle. And then if you use red dice on a 1, then the battle counts as a tie. +3 versus Beast and Knight. So this is the best Cole the Torch we're ever going to see. He is a very strong card. I don't think he cracks the A+ club. Cole the Torch, really nice art. My favorite card in the set by far. He can call an epic battle, so he joins Onyx, Thermo, and now himself as a dragon that can call an epic battle. Really nice card. Remember, if you use Cole the Torch, you can't use Onyx. So now, just for like a recap of all the cards here, just to go over some just overall information, this set basically gives the red bad guys a much needed buff. It gives them an identity. So the red bad guys, they're basically going to try to pound you into the ground with high power, not auto win. They're just going to try to get to like power 25. That's why you might see a lot of fire dog cycles where they'll sacrifice fire dogs, get a really high power, then bring them back. You might see volcano decks, stuff like that. But Cole the Torch has just become the second, oh, I just dropped that, the second best Dragon Lord in Castle Combat, because he can call the epic battle, and he's basically a 7 with no consequence. If you use a red die, he has no setback. If you're going to camp, I believe this week, July 17th, these cards should be in packs right away. So be sure to ask whoever's giving out the packs if the new red cards or the new set is in packs, because I don't want you guys spending $75 on packs where the cards are never there to begin with. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.